In 2023, it felt like the end of developers. Everywhere you looked, people were saying the same thing. AI will replace 80% of software engineers. Junior jobs are gone. Why even learn to code anymore? It sounded serious, almost like a death sentence for the industry. But it's 2026 now, and that didn't happen. Developers didn't disappear. Companies didn't fully automate engineering teams. Coding didn't die, but something did change. And if you're learning to code right now, that change actually matters a lot more than the hype ever did. So let's talk about what really happened. Yes, there were layoffs, big ones. A lot of people lost their jobs in tech in 2023 and 2024. But here's what most people forget. Between 2020 and 2022, tech companies were hiring like crazy. It was honestly one of the easiest times in history to get into the industry. Back then, you could build 2 or 3 small projects, a to-do app, a weather app, a portfolio with a nice gradient, and companies were ready to give you a chance. I'm not exaggerating. Money was cheap. Startups were overfunded. Growth was everything. Nobody cared about profit yet. The mindset was hire fast, grow fast, figure it out later. Then, interest rates went up. Investors stopped throwing money at every idea. Suddenly, companies had to become efficient. And when companies tried to become efficient very quickly, layoffs happened. Quick mental picture. A company truly needs 10 engineers. But during the boom, they hired 30 because growth looked good on paper. Now, the money dries up and they have to cut. But saying we overhired sounds bad for the company. Saying we're going AI first sounds futuristic. Same layoffs, better headline, right? AI was part of the conversation, yes, but it wasn't the main reason. The economy tightened and the market corrected itself. AI just became the dramatic headline because for some reason, humans love drama. And that's important because if you think AI replaced developers, you will feel hopeless. But that's not what happened. Let me be honest with you for a second. Even after coding professionally for more than a decade, when AI first exploded, I had a small moment where I thought, okay, is this different? Not panic, but pause. And that pause is important because it forced me to rethink how I learn and how I work. Now, let's talk about the part that did change. When I started coding professionally around 2012, my workflow looked very different. If something didn't work, I would Google the error message, open 5 Stack Overflow threads, and read half of each one. I would scroll through comments, maybe even skim a book, try 3 different solutions, and most probably break something else along the way. Sometimes I would spend half a day just to fix one small issue, and that was normal. Today, I paste the error into AI, it explains what's wrong, it suggests a fix, and it even rewrites the function. What used to take me an hour can now take 5 minutes and less effort. That's not replacement, that's multiplication. AI didn't take my job, it made my work faster, easier, and yes, more fun. And here's something most beginners don't realize. The more experience you have, the more powerful AI becomes. Because you know what to accept, you know what to reject, you know when it's wrong and when it's right. That's the key. And now you will ask me, but Pete, how will I get this experience? I'll tell you in a minute. You probably heard that Google said that over 25% of new code is AI generated. That sounds scary at first, but let's understand what that really means. AI is very good at writing repetitive code, small helper functions, tests, refactoring, and simple features. It's great at boilerplate. By the way, boilerplate are sections of code that are repeated in multiple places with little to no variation, just so you know. But software engineering isn't just about typing code. It's about making decisions. Decisions like how should this system be structured, where should this logic live, how will this scale, what happens if traffic increases to my website, what if this fails, what if my app gets hacked. Let me give you a simple example. AI can generate a really nice search feature for your app. You type something, results appear instantly. It feels smooth, it works perfectly during testing. But maybe behind the scenes, the AI wrote it in a way that sends a new database request every single time someone types a letter. When you test it yourself with 2 or 3 users, everything feels fine. It's perfect. But when you launch it, and 1,000 people are using it at the same time, suddenly your server slows down, pages start loading slowly, things feel unstable. Nothing is wrong in the obvious sense. It works. It just wasn't designed with scale in mind. And that's the difference between code that runs and systems that are engineered. AI can suggest, but humans decide. And that part hasn't changed. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, to be honest. Let me tell you something else from my early years. There were times when I copied code from Stack Overflow and it worked, but I had no idea why it worked. And that was dangerous because the moment something slightly changed, I was stuck again. Over time, I learned that understanding is more important than speed. Now, with AI, it's even easier to copy something that works without understanding it. And that's the real risk. Not job replacement, but shallow understanding. If you let AI think for you, you will feel productive, yes, but you will not grow. If you use AI to support your thinking, you will grow faster than ever before. That's the difference. Now, let's address the big anxiety. Yes, but junior jobs are down. That's true. Entry-level hiring dropped. But when markets get tight, companies always reduce risk. And juniors are seen as higher risk because they require training. This happened long before AI existed. When the economy is booming, companies invest in juniors. When things slow down, they become conservative. That's not new. It just feels new because AI is trending and it's the easy thing to blame. Here's something interesting though. Before AI, juniors learned by writing repetitive, simple code. Now, AI writes that instantly. So, what's left for you? The thinking, then debugging, the understanding. That sounds harder, but it's actually a better path because the developers who grow in this environment will be stronger long term. And let me give you a modern example. Recently, I was building something and needed to refactor a bunch of similar functions. In the past, that would mean carefully going file by file, rewriting things, double-checking everything. But now I explain what I want, review what AI gives me, adjust it, and move on with more important tasks. What used to take half a day now takes maybe 1 hour. But here's the important part, my friend. I can only do that now because I understand the architecture already. AI speeds up execution, but it doesn't replace understanding. So what actually changed in this industry? The easy path disappeared. There was a short period where surface level skills were enough. Now, finally, depth matters again. You need to understand what you're building, you need to debug properly, you need to rethink about systems, you need to use AI intelligently. AI didn't kill coding, it killed lazy learning. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. So, if you're learning to code right now and thinking, did I start too late? No, you started in a more realistic market. Less hype, less crazy hiring like it's the end of the world, more focus on fundamentals, and fundamentals are something you can build. Use AI, but don't outsource your brain. Let it make you faster, let it multiply your effort, but always understand what you're building. Then developers who stay calm, who focus on depth, who learn properly, they will survive every hype cycle. They always have, and they will always will. And if you're wondering what learn properly actually means, it means practice. Not just watching tutorials, not just copying AI answers, not just building one portfolio and hoping for the best. It means typing the code yourself, breaking things, fixing them, understanding why something works. That's why I always recommend learning in a way that forces you to code while you're learning, where you actually write the code, solve small challenges, and think through problems step by step instead of passively consuming content. Because that kind of active practice builds the exact experience that makes AI powerful instead of dangerous. If you build that foundation, AI becomes your assistant. If you skip that foundation, AI becomes the gap between you and better engineers. And that choice is completely in your hands. The truth is, we're not in the era of 10x coders. We're in the era of thoughtful engineers. And thoughtful engineers are built and not prompted. And here's a challenge for this week. Take one small feature you built with AI and rebuild it from scratch without AI. Documentation is allowed, your brain is allowed, suffering is included in the package. If you can explain every line afterwards, you're learning the right way. In 5 years from now, AI will be better. That's guaranteed. The only real question is, will you be better too? Now, I'd like to take a moment and ask you to like this video and subscribe to my channel because it really helps me to keep making these videos. And leave a comment below and tell me, what do you think of AI? Is it helping you or stressing you out? Also, if you want the best resources to learn properly in 2026, check the links below. Thanks for watching, you legends. I'm Pete and I'll see you on the next one.